We all go through phases, every single one of us. Some of these phases can last a minute, a day, a week, a month. Some phases can last years, decades, a lifetime. Now in the Bible it talks about there being a season for everything. And I'm going to try and relate this season for everything into phases right now by talking to you guys about a tree. And I want you guys to imagine this tree. And first of all, I want you to imagine the leaves on this tree, right? All the leaves. Now these leaves represent your little phases. You might wake up in the morning, stub your toe, you're annoyed, but it passes after a few hours. You might be sad, anxious, feeling a little bit lonely, feeling a little bit overwhelmed. But after a few days, after a few weeks, maybe even a few months, these phases will blow away, just like the leaves. Then you've got the branches. These are phases that come to you, maybe a business idea, a career, what you want to study at uni, where you want to live in the world. These are phases that last a longer time. It can even be questioning your sexuality, mate. It can be questioning your mental health, your own sanity. Maybe you feel like you're just delusional for 5 years, but then after that 5 years, you realize that the entire world is delusional and you're actually just quite a normal bloke. But the branches are phases that last for a longer time. Then you've got the trunk. The trunk is the phase that lasts the longest. Maybe this is a marriage, maybe this is having a family, maybe this is moving to a completely different country and living there for 20 years, being in a job for 30 years, whatever it is, you're in this phase for a long time. Maybe you're training to become a professional fighter and you're training for years and years and years. This is all you know, and then you get to the point where you're now the world champion and now this phase feels like it's come to an end. This is where the roots come in of the tree, because the roots are unseen, they're underground, they're down deep in the depths of the soil and within ourselves. And these roots are our values, our morals, our principles, the way we were brought up, our roots, God. And all these phases of the tree, every single phase of the tree, the leaves, the branches, the trunk, all these little phases in your life, questioning all of these things, doing all these different things, going to different countries, traveling, going to university, different jobs. The way to know if your phases are beneficial, and in order to know that by exploring these phases you're going to learn valuable lessons, is because these phases interlink with the roots and your morals, your values, your principles. Because if your everyday actions are not aligning with who you are deep down and they are not aligning with the roots of the tree, you're going to get anxious, you're going to lose confidence, you're going to be depressed, you're going to feel lonely, you're going to feel lost, you're going to feel confused, and you're going to get stuck in this phase that is not going to get you anywhere. But phases are good because phases are meant to build your character, teach you the lessons that you need to learn. They're meant to build you up into the person, the man or the woman you are meant to become. They're meant to turn you closer to God. They're meant to build your faith. However, some people love to latch onto these phases because they can't see that it is just a phase. They think that this is their life. Let me tell you something. Earlier this morning, I booked a one-way flight to Cape Town. I'm from the UK. I am going to South Africa. A one-way flight to South Africa. I've never been there before. I have no accommodation booked. I've not even booked my insurance yet. I have no idea what my plan is. I'm not a rich man. I'm going there. I'm probably going to live in hostels and I have no idea what's coming to me. But I'm going out there to experience new things, leave a positive mark on the world, speak with people, help people. As a life coach, I want to go out there, just meet people in these hostels and help people and leave a positive mark on the world. And so I know that this next phase of my life is a good phase, and it's a phase that God wants me to go into because this phase is aligning with my roots, with my morals, my values, my principles. Am I going to be perfect out there? Probably not. Will I make mistakes? Probably yes. Is it going to be all sunshine and rainbows? Absolutely not. Of course it's not. But trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not onto your own understanding. If I go into this new phase of my life, making sure that I'm aligning my actions with my inner values, with the roots, the tree I know will flourish. And although it might get windy sometimes, although there might be loads of sun and there'll be a drought, and although the leaves will fall off in autumn, I know that they'll come back in spring because I know that the roots are strong and are always going to be there, locked in, because I'm there locked in with God, with myself, and building my relationship with him. And I'm locked in with my morals, my values, my principles, and I know that my heart is in the right place, that being with love and forgiveness. But then here comes the anomaly. Since we're talking about trees, sometimes a phase will smack you around the face like the death of a loved one. Maybe something so unexpected is going to happen. Maybe your house catches fire. and you don't have a house anymore. Maybe your wife all of a sudden just wants a divorce. She doesn't want anything to do with you. This is the bird coming and landing on the tree, making its nest. It has a huge impact. It brings life into this tree. It brings memories, it brings happiness, it brings joy to this tree. But when the time comes, that bird has to fly away. And it's not up to you to prevent that bird from flying away. You have to let it fly away. You cannot hold that bird hostage in your tree, just as you cannot hold a phase hostage in your life if it is not serving you, serving God, glorifying God, and aligning with your deep inner morals, principles and values. Bad things are going to happen in life. You're going to lose loved ones. You're going to be injured. Bad things are going to happen. You or your friends or your family might get sick. Bad things are going to happen regardless, just as good things are going to happen regardless. That is just the cycle of life. That is just the season of life. That is just a phase of life that is going to happen no matter what. So as long as you are sticking true to your roots, the phases that you're in will always usually lead you to where you're meant to be. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes we don't know if we're leaning onto our roots. Sometimes we do make mistakes and we keep making the same mistakes, and in our head we're thinking, man, I'm just a bad person. But you cannot hide your heart from God. You know where your heart lies. God knows where your heart lies, and that is the thing that matters the most, because love will always win. Forgiveness will always win. And God, if your heart is in the right place, has forgiven you. Doesn't matter. Of course he's forgiven you. He loves you regardless. But now it's down to you to ask yourself, do you forgive yourself? Do you love yourself enough to get out of this phase and allow the tree, your tree of life, to flourish? We all go through phases, people. Every single one of us. 5 years, I was smoking weed, I was drinking, I was partying, I was a degen, I was just going down a bad path. But my heart was in the right place. And through God and through faith and through meeting Jesus Christ in my pain, I am now able to sit in front of the camera and speak to you guys and tell you guys the lessons that I've learned along the way. And that lesson for today being, that was all just a phase. And God was teaching me lessons in that phase that only now am I looking back on and really learning. So if you're in a phase right now, don't do what I did and just let it happen. Learn the lessons as soon as possible. Reflect on the times and the phases that you're going through or that you have been through already, and understand what God, and try and understand at least what God is telling you in these phases. You might not know what you want to do, but you probably know what you don't want to do. You might not know who you want to be, but through these phases you know who you don't want to be. If you don't know what you want in life, if you are confused, understand that that is completely normal, but ask yourself the next best question. Ask yourself who you don't want to be, what you don't want to do, where you don't want to end up, and ask God for guidance. Don't ask him to get you out of this mess. Don't ask him for this, don't ask him for that. Ask him for guidance to help you through these murky waters, because it's through these murky waters, it's through these phases, it's through exploring these phases that we go through in life and exploring the seasons in life that we build our character and become who we're meant to become. You cannot latch on to these phases, however. You cannot latch on to this pain or to the good things. You cannot latch on to the good, the bad and everything in between. You've got to flow like water. Life's a cycle. You've got to let the bird go. You've got to allow the leaves to fall. Just make sure, to the best of your ability, that the actions you are making every day align with the roots under the ground. Today's been day 89 of me making a YouTube video every single day for 365 days and seeing where I end up. God bless you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.